What's up, Buck Doug with D&E in the Garage. Today we're going to do something that is not related to Jeeps, though if you're wondering why I'm filthy right now at the beginning of a video, I did just get done changing out the wheel bearings and the CVs on the WJ. Go check that video out. Today we're going to build an ugly drum smoker. What I have here is a 55-gallon drum. It's not food grade, which most people use for this, but it's not going to be a problem. I was looking at how other people do theirs, and that's cool, but I want to do mine a little different. I was looking into what the materials were going to cost, and it turned out just buying one of these Weber 22-inch grills and cannibalizing it was going to be cheaper than buying everything individually. Found this one for 60 bucks on clearance at Wally World. I guess somebody bought it, returned it, kicked it down the hall, I don't know. But their loss, our gain. So, first thing you will notice is that my ugly drum smoker does not have, or my 55-gallon drum does not have the removable lid that most people's has. That's not going to be a problem. First thing we're going to do, we're going to chop this lid off because we're ultimately going to use the top from that thing. I want the dome so that I got more head space up here, right? I can possibly get the meat further away from the heat down there, get a better smoke on it, and I want to be able to do a turkey in this thing. So, very first thing we're going to do is chop the top off. If you're going to cut into a drum like this and you don't know what was in it, what you want to do first is fill it all the way to the top with water. Displace any fumes that may be in there. Now, I know nothing flammable is in this one. Most of these you're going to get are food grade and they had apple juice or something crazy in it, but if you don't know, don't take the risk that there's some kind of flammable, you get it. All right, so let's get this thing right here. We're going to get some of our benchmark abrasive cutoff wheels. Now, I thought about taping out a perfect line and all that. I'm just going to cut directly underneath this lip here, and that's going to get me what I want. So I don't feel like I need to mess around with all that. We have to wear some gloves though, so I'm tired of burning my hands up while grinding. That's what's up. Alright friends, next step is going to be to burn this thing out. It's going to get any residue on the inside, any coating on the inside. Sometimes these things have rust inhibitors or whatever on the inside. We're just going to burn it all out. We're going to burn it for a good couple hours tonight and then probably burn it again tomorrow. Do 2 burns, make sure that thing's nice and clean. Alright, so we burned this thing out last night. I don't feel like the paint totally burnt, so I want to drill all the holes that are going to have to go in it, and we're going to burn it out again tonight. I don't know if you can see all the way down here, still a little bit of the red, so I just want to make sure we really burn all the paint off. The inside came real nice. There's an argument out there on the internet over using a food grade one, which is going to come with like a ceramic coating inside, or using one that doesn't have that coating and just having to burn out whatever was in it. I went with a non-food grade one, and so far real happy. So we need to drill holes for these guys right here. These are oh man, I'm not an electrician. I know electricians use them. I guess, what do they run, conduit through them, or wire or something? One of you guys will tell me down there. Maybe that's, I don't know, whatever it is. We're going to drill holes in the drum down there so that we can put these guys on, and then thread some black pipe on there, and then we'll have our uprights coming up. Alright, now the only other holes I need to drill in the actual drum itself are for the grates, but I'm going to do those after this burn. They don't have to be in for this burn. The holes down on the bottom are going to help it get more air in the bottom in this burn and really burn the bottom out. You can see the paint did a weird thing only on the outside where it like left this weird residue. I'm wondering if it didn't get hot enough up here. So we're going to burn it out again. The inside is perfect though. It's down to bare metal, looks real good. We're going to go burn this out. So it's burning a hell of a lot faster and hotter than last night, and I think it's got to be those holes down there venting it right in. I think this one's gonna be quicker. That one was like 2 hours. This one will be like 45 minutes tops. It's looking good though. I can already see down there is where it was still red, and I can already see it's turning black, so we should have all the paint off after this one. Alrighty friends, we got the second burn all done. There were still a few places on the outside of the drum where it was a little bit weird. The paint didn't come off cleanly, so we ground those down. The inside is perfect, mint. I ground down around all these holes thinking I was going to weld these guys in. I was going to slide them in like this, not even use this locking ring, and then weld around here. But then I put one in the way you're supposed to use them, put it in and use the locking ring, and there are still enough threads on there for me to use it. So this is way easier. I mean, anytime, as much as I want to weld, it's always fun to weld, but let's work smarter, not harder. So this worked out real well. I was able to clamp that down. Now I'm sure that there is some industry tool that the electricians use to tighten these things down, but I don't own that tool. So these guys work pretty well on the other side. The other bummer is that I was pretty sloppy with that hole saw. I'm sure y'all noticed in that footage. I was real sloppy, and so these holes are bigger than I anticipated they were going to be. I think that just is what it is. It doesn't help. It's always difficult when it's a curved surface you're drilling a hole into. It wants to bite in different places. Yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. There's like a little hole up there. I might have to weld this one just a little bit. No bother, I was kind of hoping to break out the welder, so let's give that a shot. Real glad I started on the back of the barrel. It's not looking so good. I am not gonna lie, those welds look like hammered dog crap. I'm not even gonna show you an up close of my my hot snotting. I mean, I am a hack welder, but I don't think it's all that. I don't have gas right now. I only have flux core, and this machine's not rated to weld 18 on just flux core. So I'm burning through, and then I go to try to fix the hole and I make it worse. So I think we're gonna stop here, and I'm thinking, let's take a look at the front. Let's see how bad it is. All right, now this one's fine. It's sealed well enough for me. I have no concerns about this one. Yeah, a little bit of air is gonna get in, but it's not enough that it's gonna change anything. Over here is where I'm a little more concerned. You can see that, I mean, it just doesn't look very good. There's clearly a hole there. I'm kind of wondering if, I know this is another hack move, but maybe I can kind of just go heavy with the paint there and it'll, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is, man. It's called an ugly drum smoker for a reason. I'm not gonna try to weld this because I guarantee I just burn right through. And this is the front of it. I want it to look a little bit nice, and that's gonna make it worse. So, is what it is, buddy. And that's all there is to it. Let's get some other hardware on this thing and have it start looking like something. Alrighty, we are just about done with the functional portion of this build. We've got our hardware in place, just have to figure out some way to support that stuff. This is just gonna be, you know, anytime we cook, this one's gonna come off in the back. I'm gonna have to tighten everything down, but this cap will come off, and that'll be one air vent, and then obviously, I mean, you guys know ugly drum smokers. These will be how we monitor our air the other way. Yeah, this is real wobbly, so we're gonna have to get something on that. We have to drill holes. Like I said, I think I'm gonna do a grate here, and then a grate down here, and then another one down here for just like a water thing or whatever. But let's get our top on it, and for the first time ever, we'll see what she's really gonna look like. Oh yeah, man. Alrighty, tonight we're starting to think about wheels, what the bottom's gonna look like. The Weber grill came with these wheels. I figure why not use them. I have this ready rod, and I think this is like grade 8 hardware, but screw it, I have it lying around, might as well use it. My thought process is to weld these nuts this way as like a backing for the wheel. Now I'm gonna have to bore the wheel out a little bit, just a little bit, so it'll go on like that. Then one of these nuts on the front, and maybe I'll drill through this to do a cotter pin, or maybe once it's all painted I'll just weld that on, I don't know. But I think the first step will be measuring where I want the wheels on the back, then boring out these holes just a little bit to accommodate this ready rod here, and then we're gonna weld some stuff in place, and that'll be it. It's gonna be real simple. Alright, here's my idea. These are going to be my supports for these things. Rather than using U-bolts, I just don't like the way they look. I know that's what most people use. It's not for me. So I'm going to cut them so that they fit back behind there. Weld them, tack weld them to this, tack weld them to that. They don't have to be super strong. They just have to make sure that these conduit washer things, nuts, are not the only thing holding this big thing on. So I'm going to cut it to size, sneak it behind there, just tack it. Tremendous progress has been made. We are just about done. The hardware is done. The base is done. That took way longer than I thought it was going to, getting the wheels and the support in. The only two things we have left to do, we have to drill the holes for the grates, but before we can do that, I need to fix this. When I cut the barrel off, I was so excited to be getting started that I did it real sloppy without realizing later this was going to be my edge. This is the top of the barrel. I can't have this. I'll be catching that on my arm every time I go to put the thing in. So I'm going to measure from the floor up, find the lowest common point, and then chop around so that we have an even flat barrel. Then we can measure down for where our grates are going to go. That sucked so much more than I ever could have guessed. I really needed to have hearing protection for that. It was terribly difficult to stay on track. I never would have guessed that would be the least pleasant part of this entire build. But I think we nailed it. We just have to deburr a little bit. Oh, which should be no problem. Alright friends, camera cut out on me so I lost some footage, but we finished cleaning this lip up. We drilled all the holes for our racks. The only thing left to do is to weld a little handle on the back so that it's easy to move. Then we're going to wipe this thing down with alcohol, tape up these fittings here, and get this thing painted. That's really all there is to it. It's almost done. Alright friends, time has finally come for paint. Couldn't have a worse day for it, but it is what it is. I want to get this thing done. So, we're going to paint it, then we're going to put all the grates in, and then probably in another video I'm going to show you how I'm going to do my fire basket. It's going to be different than most people. Alright friends, all painted up. I'm real happy with how she looked. The only thing left to do, we're going to use these, what are these, 2-inch, 1.5-inch stainless screws for the grates. We've got one at 3 inches from the top, one at 9 inches from the top, and another one at 13. This one's just going to be for like a water pan or a diffuser, and then these two will be my cooking racks. So we're going to put these in, put this hardware on, and then this thing is officially done. Now, I considered painting these handles black with Plastidip. I thought that might look better, but I don't want to run the risk that Plastidip's going to like melt off. So for now, I'm going to leave these handles the way they are. At some point, they may get painted. Let's get to it, man. I'm ready to be done with this thing. I'll tell you what. Alrighty, friends. After many nights of putting the kid to bed and then running down here to get an hour in, the ugly drum smoker is finally done. This is D&E's take on an ugly drum smoker. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, which seems years ago at this point, we opted to purchase a Weber grill and just cannibalize it. And I got a ton of parts from that. I got this little thermometer off of Amazon. It was like 12 bucks, and I chose to integrate it into this little chimney thing here. I'm real happy with that decision. I think it's nice and clean. It doesn't, and granted, I don't do a lot of smoking of meat, so maybe I'm just way off the mark, but lots of people put them down here, and it's like, that's not where I'm cooking, you know? And I feel like this is gonna get, I don't know, real hot and maybe give you false readings, so maybe it's wrong up there and I have to bring it down here, but it makes more sense for it to be up in the dome to me. And you can see it's got a probe, goes right on inside. That's actually it's like the castle nut from an axle nut for a Dana 30 axle. I had a spare one lying around. I needed like a little washer. I've already, I mean, through the project, I've told you all about this thing, how it's going to operate. So I'm not going to go over it too much. But there it is. Cannot wait to start smoking. My understanding, never smoked before, certainly not with a UDS, but to get it going, you're going to want to crack this bad boy off and open your ball valves all the way. Send this thing all the way open. Then once she's going, put this back on, and to moderate the heat, you mess around with these ball valves over here to keep the heat right in that perfect range there. That's my understanding. I've seen a lot of people, when they're actually smoking, I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos, they'll have one of these all the way closed, and they're really just moderating through one of these, you know? So maybe that's what it looks like. Anyway, got any questions, by all means, comment down there in the squawk boxes. If you got any comments, by all means, down there in the squawk boxes. Leave my welding alone. I know I'm a hack welder. Did the job, though. Nothing's going to fall apart, so that's all it is. Going to be a video coming up. Oh, we're going to turn this into our firebox. So that'll be a whole separate video. Hopefully it doesn't take 2 weeks like this did. But stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.